Hi there, Dave from Card Shark Comics here, writer of Killtopia, Vessels, Bust, and other titles. This is episode 2 of my new How to Make Comics guide. I've recently just moved to video on my website, cardsharkcomics.com. You can find a few written versions. There's about 5 or 6 guides in there about how to set up a Kickstarter, how to format a comic script, how to come up with a story, and a few other things as well. So if you're new to comics or just need a refresher, that's a good place to start. So for this video guide, I wanted to talk about something that's actually not practical when it comes to comic creation. It's something that's mental, and that's burnout and process. So it's quite an apt conversation for many reasons for me as someone who has experienced massive mental burnout, with creative endeavors before. And I think you'll find it's something that it is not uncommon amongst the comic independent scene. Is people getting burned out, disillusioned, depressed, just generally frustrated at how do I take my work to the next level? How do I do this? That sort of overwhelming, constant stress and pressure to always be marketing yourself, always going to cons, always thinking about the next project, always writing or drawing or whatever your role in comics is, on an almost 24-hour basis, on top of your full-time job, your family, your downtime, everything else. And that, it's a lot. It is a huge, forget about the financial costs of making a comic here. There is a huge human and personal cost to be paid to be a part of this industry at this level. And that's, if you're not prepared to adapt to that in a way that's smart and sustainable and makes sense, then it can eat you alive. And I'm not exaggerating this at all here. It is difficult. One, you need to have the great idea that stands out, the talent to make it work, the right contacts to make it work, the clout to appear at Comic Cons, the financial brain to manage your money and make sure you have enough to keep the lights on. God, there's so many other things that you need to be a good marketer. You need to know social media. You need to understand paid media if you want to really get yourself out there. You need to have press contacts. You need to attend Comic Cons. You need to have all the equipment for Comic Cons. It just, if you really boil it down, comic writers and artists can't just be comic writers and artists. They need to be all those other things as well. And that's a lot for one person to do. It really is. And some of us do try and do it all. We don't have the savviness or the contacts to enlist friends and to pay, third parties. For example, an accountant. You might want to hire an accountant to look after the money side of your business, your personal brand. But we can't all afford that, even with Kickstarters, right? So that's one of the big things as well. Is we have run 6 Kickstarters. You may know that our 6th one for Killtopia, our new series, broke 16 grand. And all of a sudden there's friends jokingly, of course, say, you don't need to worry about the cash now, the next round of drinks is on you, kind of thing. And it's a joke, right? They're only joking. But it's almost all gone on the things that we needed to spend to make the book happen. And when you have almost 1,000 backers of your book, that's a big print bill. That's a big post bill. And if the book's big, if it's perfect bound like ours, I'll forget about it. You get this little spark of positivity, like, oh great, my comic Kickstarter was a success. I don't have to worry anymore. All that money goes, and you reset in time for the next Kickstarter. And that's kind of indicative, and the reason I bring up that example is it's really indicative of most things to do with comics. You get that little high from doing something, right? So be it getting that printed book back in your hands, finishing a project, getting a new bit of art back, having a great con, but then next again week you're started all over again. That fight begins again on the next title and the next project, and you see it's all about cycles now. And the same is true for, if you're writing comics. I see one of the biggest stresses and mental blockers that I see from friends, and I hear about all the time from other creators, is I just don't have the time to write as much as I used to. Or, in a month I only wrote 10 pages or something, right? And it's quite hard when you start kicking yourself down like that. I used to do it, oh God, I only wrote 100 words this week. But hey, my philosophy now, and this is where you really need to start thinking differently about why you're doing comics to begin with, and I'll get to that in a minute. But on the word count thing, the output thing, you can't be on it all the time. So if I write 100 really good words in a week, it's 100 more than I had before. It's still moving the dial, maybe only this much, but it's still progress. And that you take these little victories where you can. That's the sort of philosophy that I'm trying to stick to, and even I slip a lot. It's difficult. So I think the reason a lot of us burn out is a lot of us come into this hobby, because it probably starts as a hobby for most of us rather than a business, but there will come a point, if you're successful, it does start to become a business, and a lot of these problems start to rear their heads, right? Perspectives change and goals shift, and it happens. It's evolution. It's malleable. It doesn't, this is just how it works. But, for me, money's a secondary concern. Like I said, I only make money to keep the lights on. And often my collaborators are saying, oh, from this Kickstarter, at least take some of the cash and treat yourself to something, or we have a good con, and it's like, you keep the money this time and you treat yourself to something because you were the one at the con doing everything. And I feel guilty about that, because to me, we're almost a non-profit. So why did I get into it? Well, to create something that will outlast me. That's a really strange thing maybe to some people, but once I'm gone, it comes to us all. I want to leave something behind that people can enjoy and sort of get some love out of. And if I sell 10 comics at a con, and say I have a really bad con, right, where I don't make a lot of money, if 10 people took my comics away and it made them smile or made them think and it made them laugh and want more, that's my payment, my mental payment as well. I feel great about that. If someone gets in touch with me after a con and says, oh man, I really liked that book, I didn't read comics much before, but I really enjoyed this, and it makes you feel great. It's like a little high, right? It's like a little thing. So I think if you exist in this industry to only make money, to get a publishing deal with one of the big two, right, or get a Netflix deal, what are the percentage odds of that actually ever happening? You're really setting yourself up for so much disappointment if you start there. There's nothing wrong with that being the big goal at the top. What are all the little steps that get you there? Focus on the bottom rung first before you go up. Right? Because that's what's achievable. This big one is pretty much out of your hands for probably most of the time you're going to be a comic creator. Till you get what I'm saying? It's like, be realistic, and all of a sudden that big goal that you sort of sit up at night wondering, how do I get a Netflix deal? What are the things I need to do, to make it big and get pitched, and have a pitch accepted by a big publisher. That's later. That comes later. What are you doing right now? Finish your book. Try and get into a good routine. Get your headspace sorted. Work out your work-life balance. I mean, there's so many. I'm thinking now I might make another video about this topic because there's just so much to think about. There really is. I mean, so okay. Here's how I sort of deal with my work-life balance. I am lucky enough. I say lucky. But I'm lucky enough that my work is quite far away. It's a good hour bus journey. I'm not going to do anything else for that time, so that's when I write now. And, I'm writing on my phone. Sure, it's not the best way to do it than sitting at a laptop, right? But I'm not going to do it. It's like captive time, right? I'm not going to go anywhere else. I can't do anything else on that bus, so I'm just going to write. And it means that my evenings now are free. But if you don't do that, I mean, before I had that commute, I used to do a thing called comic night. So I made a contract with myself that said, right, your life work balance is shot. It's so bad. I was coming home from work and I was working. I'd maybe spend an hour with my wife, bite to eat. Then I'd be writing until midnight, and I'd have to get up for work the next second day. And I can, you can already tell that wasn't going to work. So I said, no, this is madness. So I established a thing called comic night, which is a contract with myself that said 1 night a week you must write comics. Doesn't matter what night it is. If you start off the week thinking, right, Monday's going to be comic night, but then a friend says, oh hey, do you want to go to the cinema? Or my wife says, do you want to go for a drink? Comic night gets postponed. But I have to do one of those nights a week, so it becomes Tuesday. If Tuesday's no good, it becomes Wednesday. And you see, and because I know that I can only work on comics that one night of that week, I'm going to have a damn good session. I'm going to unplug from everything else, laptop on, focus, I'm going to do it. Sometimes you sit down and that doesn't happen. And if it doesn't happen on a Wednesday, then comic night becomes Thursday. I just put the laptop down, I don't stress about it. I'm like, nope, not feeling it, down, move it to the next day. Have some fun on Wednesday instead. Play a video game, hang out with my wife, whatever. And it works. It really works. You need to, all these positive thinking things only work if you buy into it and you put yourself fully into it. And it works, but you need to find your own thing, and that's difficult. I know, here's me saying, here's how I did it, and I think anyone who follows me regularly on social knows that I lapse a lot as well. I bad vibes and stress and just a frustration with how. My frustrations come from things like the way that this industry works. For indies, there's a certain amount of things that sort of annoy me about the Comic Con format. You have to raise money to buy the table for the Comic Con. You have to pay to basically make money by selling comics, which you then have to distribute back to your artists and then save up for the next Comic Con and then think about paying for things for the next Kickstarter. It's just money, money, money. But that's the price you have to pay. You have to figure out a way to do it. I think that system is fundamentally flawed in a lot of regards, but it's not going to be changing anytime soon. So be as frustrated with the system as you want, but what are you going to do about it? How are you going to adapt the way that you work to it? And that's what you need to think about. I see some weird posts sometimes from creators, who have got a rejection from a publisher. And it's I'm paraphrasing here, but it's things like, oh, this publisher didn't want my pitch. Well, it's their loss because when I'm signed by DC, they're going to regret that. No. It's such a bad attitude. It's a toxic way to think. Maybe you got rejected because your work wasn't great. It's hard to hear, but was your work good enough for them? Maybe not. At indie level, probably not, to be honest. We're all learning. I'm not claiming my stuff's good at all. I constantly pick holes in my own work, which is another negative thing that you need to get out of. Yeah, you may not be happy with your own work, but which creator is? We're not all egotists sitting, my work's the best ever. No. We pick holes in our own work constantly. I think an artist or a letterer, anyone creative will tell you that, actually. The moment you stop thinking that you have anything to learn is the moment that you absolutely become an egotistical asshole. You never know it all. You are never the best. There's always people doing things better and more interesting than you, and that's fine. Just accept that you'll always have things to learn, you always have ways to improve, but relish it. Every new bit of experience, every new little win, everything is just adding more positivity to your journey as a creator. When I post online saying, I'm having quite a down day, I'm kind of stressed with aspects of comic creating or just life in general, I don't do that to get attention. I just do it because I like to complain. I love a moan and a rant. It's cathartic for me, right? I'm sure we all like to grumble like that. That's me. So that's my own way of dealing with it. And then people say, oh, your work's great, man. Don't just remember how good your work is and stuff. And I think it's those little moments where I think, do you know what? Yeah, it's not that I'm egotistical about my own work. I sort of remember in those moments other people like my work. I might pick it apart, and it loops back to what I was saying at the start. These people get some sort of enjoyment out of my work, and that's a lovely thing. It's worth more to me than money. Maybe money is your primary driver, in which case then I only wish you the best of luck, but I think you're going to be massively disappointed for potentially years before you hit a stride where you're self-perpetuating enough that you don't have to worry about money. But there's people who freelance for the big publishers who probably still have full-time jobs, or I mean, that's my assumption, but I'm sure it must happen somewhere. So yeah, I mean, this has been a massive brain dump. I never script these videos, so as you can probably tell, but it's just a thought starter, really. I mean, think about, I guess, why you do this, and is there any way that you can shift the way you think about it? Can you identify your own hang-ups and the I suppose, would you call them maybe the triggers that set you off, like, and make you feel bad? But I mean, you got to think about your family first, your own mental well-being. Are you working out enough, or are you just like sitting hunched at a desk all day doing this, not getting out? And I've done it, I'm sure that you're no stranger to the whole, you sit down at 10 o'clock at night, I'm only going to write for half an hour. You basically write for what you think is half an hour. Then you look at your clock and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, what? That's unhealthy. It's really unhealthy. You got to find some way to control yourself. And I don't have all the answers. If you do, please tell me, because I want to know. But I'm just hoping that this video is like a little earnest, me kind of just being kind of real thought starter to just get you thinking about your own self-worth and how that's important. And you need to make comics for other people, but also like do what you love for yourself and find whatever joy in it you can. And I guess when you do lapse, how do you get out of that? We're all different. I've sort of explained how I do it, comic night, and just taking more time for myself. And yeah, we're always going to have bad days, but I'm hoping that in some small way that this video has helped maybe get you starting to think a bit more outside the box about how we deal with it. And that's basically it. So this is a sort of weird offshoot kind of guide in my series. It's not prescriptive, it's more philosophical, but yeah, I'm kind of going in circles now, but it's just it's something that's quite dear to my heart as someone who's lapsed and felt that things couldn't possibly get any worse when really things were okay. We are making things that people enjoy. You wouldn't be doing this still if you didn't have an audience or a sliver of success. Just remind yourself of that, next time you feel bad, and take pleasures where you can get them, enjoy where you can get it. So yeah, I'm going to stop now because I'm kind of going around in circles. It's a much bigger issue, and my analogy before about big things and small things, it still feels like a really big issue to me. So I might have to think about other smaller topics within this topic that I can talk about in future. But let me know what you guys think. If you like this video and you have some thoughts on it, or you just want to rant, you want a friendly ear, you want to talk about your frustrations, I'm always happy to listen, as always. Just get me on the Card Shark Comics Facebook or the Killtopia Facebook, just message me there. Happy to chat. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and thanks again, and keep up the good fight. Don't let the bad vibes win. You can do it. Alright, thanks guys, cheers.